Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jojo Palacio, and on this channel, we talk about all things beauty. Today we are here to do this wonderful glam moment. I am obsessed with the colors and the tones. It's perfect for summer, it's warm, it's colorful. I feel like this is totally wearable. It's nothing crazy or out of this world. We use a lot of the products that I've been receiving in my BoxyCharm in a combination of drugstore as well as higher end products. One thing that I do want to start off by saying is, you guys know my channel is about motivation, inspiration, and education. And today is a perfect example of how something starts off looking rough and you're not certain of how things are going to turn out, but if you continue to work on it and you're persistent and you are disciplined and focus on the end goal, things turn out for good. And again, involving God in all of your plans and in everything that you do, whether it's personal or business, whether you think something is a miracle-sized situation or whether it's every day, God wants to be involved in every facet of your life. So this look at the beginning, I was not sure of how it was going to turn out. Even when you're blending it out with me, I'm sure you're looking at it and you're like, whoa, this yellow is a lot, this orange is a lot. How are we going to fix this? Where are we going to go from here? But as I was blending and working on it, I could just feel God's spirit telling me, this is how situations in life are, Jovi. You start to work on things and you start to plan things and you have an idea of what the end is going to look like, but in the middle of the process, something doesn't blend right, something doesn't work right. You start to doubt yourself, you start to doubt decisions that you've made. And you kind of get into a space of negativity and questioning everything. But if you just stick to things and you trust the process and you trust God and you trust His word, things will work out. I personally am going through something where it's just so frustrating. That waiting period is so frustrating. I feel like sometimes yes and no answers are better than not right now or not yet. I am not the most patient person, and I feel like God is working in me through certain things in my life to kind of work on that. But I just wanted to say that. I felt like I had to say that. I always like to give an inspirational message, something motivational. And if you're going through something in life that's similar, comment down below. Let's create a community of positivity where we can all just encourage each other and we can have a faith-based makeup channel. How crazy is that? But I feel like I've been chosen by God to have something like that. I don't think that there's anything like that out there that I've come across. And if you know a YouTuber that you love to watch, tag them or put their channel down below. I would absolutely love to follow, because I think the world needs a little bit more of that. So anyways, if you want to find out how to create this gorgeous makeup look, then just keep on watching. All right guys, so let's get started on this eye look. We're gonna start with our base. I'm using today the Louis eye base. So I use it in the shade Rumor just to get a more neutralized canvas. I don't like to see any of the veins or the discoloration that I have going on, so I just like to clean that up. I'm gonna blend that out using a Real Techniques buffing crease brush. I love this crease brush for blending out things that are creamy and a little thicker, so I will use it often for my concealers and I will use it for my eye bases. Okay, awesome. And then my theory is that powder blends best over powder. So I'm gonna use my MAC Studio Fix in C2. And it's a nice neutral, very skin bone color. So I'm gonna just take that with a fluffy eyeshadow brush and just pat that all over. You wanna pat, you don't wanna lift or cause any rolling or creasing or lifting. So just make sure you're patting this on carefully, gently all over your lid. Love it. Okay, so next for the eyeshadow palettes, and I'm sorry that I'm using two, sorry, not sorry, but I saw a look that inspired me on Instagram and I received this guy right here, which is the Ace Beauty Nostalgia palette in my most recent BoxyCharm. So we're gonna be playing with a lot of these colors here. And then I also have an older palette that I received in BoxyCharm when I first signed up. This is the Alamar Cosmetics Reyna del Caribe palette, which I absolutely love. So we're gonna be playing with this shade here, this shade, and that one in this palette. But we're gonna start off with our Nostalgia palette from Ace Beauty, or Ace Beauty. I don't know how to say that. Comment down below, correct me. I don't even know if you can fix it with a comment, but how do you guys say it? So I'm gonna start off by using this water slide shade, which is a yellow shade. I'm gonna pick it up using a nice fluffy brush. So the brush looks like this. The larger the brush, the larger the area that we're trying to cover. And I'm gonna blend that very high up on my crease. All right, so once we look crazy and the shadows look funky, just keep in mind we're gonna work through this process. It is a process, and so every step is important. Every step that you work towards is a step closer to the final goal. So we are gonna move on in the same Ace Beauty palette, and so we are going to use a mix of two colors, but we're gonna start off by building the darkest color first, which is this guy here called Hiking. And so I'm gonna change the size of the brush dramatically, and I wanna show you guys that. So the first brush you can see was a lot fluffier, larger, longer. And so this one here is a little more specific, but we're gonna keep that in a specific area. So the smaller the brush, the more specific the area you're trying to cover. And so what I want you to do here is tilt your head back and kind of stamp this color on where you want it first. Keeping it pretty high up on the crease as well, but not as high as that yellow shade. You should still be able to see the difference between the two because we have another color coming there. So build it up in this outer corner, deposit most of your product here, and then keep it pretty high up because we're gonna cut our crease and the lid doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, awesome. So now we are at the point where we can blend things out. So what I'm gonna do is take a very similar brush to the one we just used. Again, it's one by Morphe. And I'm gonna pick up the shade Popsicle, which is a very light orange, warm orange as well. It's like a mustardy type of orange. We're gonna pick that up. Keeping our head tilted back, we're gonna work that in between the two shades here. Always wanna take a step back and compare the colors that are going on your lid with something further away. So I have a mirror that's close and a mirror that's far. Comment down below, guys, if this is a good angle for you. If it isn't, just let me know. I'm working still on figuring things out. 2 years into my YouTube channel, I'm still working on angles and things. So it's a collaborative effort. I appreciate your guys' feedback, so let me know. And so I always keep a clean blending brush just to make sure everything blends into each other. I almost want that yellow to disappear, but yet I'm seeing it. So I am gonna make sure that I run this through the edges to just absorb a little bit of that yellow, although I can see more of the yellow on the camera than I can on my eyelid. It's weird. All right, so let's stop for a minute and let's cut our crease before we continue working on that crease area. So I'm gonna go back into my P. Louis base, and I like to use a nice big flat brush. The bigger the brush to me, the faster the work gets done. We're trying to cover a pretty large area in our eyelid. So I'm gonna take a little bit on the very tip of this, and we are going to work little by little. So I like to start by dabbing it in the very inner corner, working in small swiping motions, and then we're gonna start to stamp ourselves a workspace as we go. All right, guys, so once you've cut up part of your crease, I'm gonna go back into the darkest shade that we use, which is that like burgundy burnt brown shade, Hiking. And so I'm gonna take that on a smaller buffing brush, and we're just going to soften the edges of the outer corner first. I just want something to be there when we're blending in our lid shades. Okay. And so I know that you see that's a very emphasized line around my lid. I'm gonna do my little trick where I take a eyeliner brush and the colors that we used in that crease area, and we're gonna dampen them with a setting spray. And we're gonna go back and sketch it out. That's just the sharpest way to get a clean line without overdoing the shadows. You guys see how that just created more of that halo glow around the eyelid? Take a step up and just make sure. I don't know why I filmed this eye on camera for you guys, but I do have a hooded eye, which is this one. The mascara, the liner, it always just looks weird. You see how it like drops below the lid versus this one stays up high? It's just one eye. Very annoying, but there you go. Jojo being vulnerable for you guys. So let's move on to our lid shades. This is where we're gonna go into that Alamar palette. So the Alamar palette, we're gonna start by picking a mix of these two up here. So what is that? That is Verdadero and Celia. And so I'm just gonna do a quick little dabbing between two colors. I'm gonna dampen the brush just a smidge. And then what we're gonna do is start at the very top and pull down. Awesome, and then we're gonna go into the very pinky tone that's here, La Costa, and we're gonna grab that with another flat brush. I would usually tell you to just turn it, but it's like a very different color in the transition, so just be careful. I have multiple flat brushes. If you don't clean the brush in between, that's okay. Then again, I'm gonna stamp it from the very top. Beautiful, and these colors are so pigmented and so easy to work with. It is not even funny. So the last thing that I wanna do is just kind of wiggle. The last thing I wanna do is just kind of wiggle here with some of that dark shade and just stamp lightly to make sure that all the transitions are nice and even. Very nice. So I am going to put on just a very thin line here on the lash line. I want it very thin. That's just kind of to camouflage my lashes later on when we put it on. And then I'm gonna zoom you guys out so that I can do the complexion. I'm gonna put my lashes on last just because that's just what's most comfortable. I'm gonna be very real and I'll be right back. All right guys, so let's film this complexion. I have a combination of primers like always, except one is new. So let's talk about the one that isn't. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I did a haul recently and I will link it above where I purchased a ton of e.l.f. products and I got all of their putty primers, which are probably their top selling primer, in trial sizes so I can try each and every single one. So the Poreless one I like to place right in my midsection to make sure that we take care of those unruly, unnecessary, not welcome pores. And so next we're gonna move on to the new primer, which is like a filter situation. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm gonna link my Instagram above. I wore this the other day for the first time and I actually wore it on at church during worship and I was a little more glowy than I wanted to. Like people kept asking me if I was hot. That's how you know you look greasy, boo. So I would say just keep that in mind. I'm gonna put this on all over underneath. That day I just really put it like in high point and even then it was like a little too much. But today we're gonna use a combination of powders. I didn't use powders the other day, so this will be just another quick little review for you guys onto how to best wear it based off of your skin type. That being said, you should know that I am combination skin. So if you are combination skin, then just listen in and kind of apply this to your routine. If you're not my skin type, then I would just say take what you need and avoid or don't listen to the rest. So for foundation, we are using the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation in the shade Santa Fe. I am missing my self tan this week. I haven't done it just yet. So we are gonna go into one of my fairer shades. I'm gonna use a Morphe buffing foundation brush, very similar to my M439. That's what this looks like here. So again, going with a buffing dense brush to help me build coverage without having to use a lot of product. All right, so now that we have this on, we are going to place our contour. I love to do that after doing foundation just because it allows me to clean anything up with a concealer afterwards. So we are gonna use two different contouring bronzing products. So this is the Milk Flex Foundation Stick in the shade Medium Tan. We're gonna use that to bronze, and then I have a contouring stick by Fenty. This is the Mocha shade that I'm gonna use to just further contour and shape up. So you can tell that this is definitely my tan shade. I'm just gonna apply this in the same way I would apply my contour, which is in the shape of a 3 or an E. So forehead, cheekbone, chin. And we're gonna blend this out with a buffing brush from BH Cosmetics. We're using stippling buffing motions towards the hairline to just create a very natural bronze look. Do you guys own two different foundations or do you just contour a little heavier during the summer? Like, comment down below for which one you opt. I'm just more for the one that saved me money. So I'll just use a foundation that's very neutral in between the two shades, and then I'll just kind of contour and bronze as I need it. So my Fenty stick, I really want to just focus this more on my cheekbone and my chin. I love blending this out. This is the exception. I enjoy using that Fenty contouring stick a lot because it is truly the exception. It just blends into anything. And that mocha shade, if you are a medium skin tone like myself, is the perfect shade. It doesn't look dirty. It like enhances any type of bronzing, and it's very, very natural. The glow from that Hollywood filter is still very much present. I can see it absolutely. Let's move on. We are going to use our two concealing shades. I use one to color correct and the other one to highlight. The concealing shades we're gonna use is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I use this in the shade Apricot to conceal. This is a great everyday concealer because it's nice coverage, but it blends in very well. And then the highlighting shade we're gonna use is the NYX Born to Glow Concealer, and this is in the shade Fair. So what I like to do is apply the concealing shade in the little triangle, which is directly underneath of my eye in this little square. And then anywhere where I want extra coverage or have redness, which is typically the forehead and around the nose. So what I will do is blend this in with either my finger or a sponge directly underneath of my eye. Less has been more for me as far as concealers. I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what you think. I am turning 30 this year, and I feel like the less I use under the eyes, the less I use on my face period, the better the makeup wears, the better that it looks. So comment and tell me if you feel the same way, or you're still like, no sis, I need it all. And so this, I'm just gonna press this in around the nose area. Again, this is just to conceal and color correct. It's not necessarily to brighten. We're gonna use a different shade to brighten that area. Oh my God, a little bit goes a long way with this concealer. Look at that. Okay, awesome. So now we're gonna highlight, and to highlight, we're gonna cover the larger triangle. So we're gonna use this concealer, which if you haven't seen my NYX haul, you need to. And I use it here to lift, and then I use it here to kind of reinforce and bring back to life and undo some of the hollowness. Don't need a lot because that Hourglass is enough. And then I like to take some here to just even out the light that's on my face. So what I will do is let the under eye area sit for a minute. We're gonna blend this out first. And I just want you to visualize a light bulb just following you around, a spotlight. That's what's gonna happen with this, is that's where you're gonna keep it focused, which is on the high parts of your face. So think of your forehead, your chin, anything that sticks forward. I really do like that Hollywood Flawless filter underneath everything. It looks great. So what I'm gonna do now is set with a pressed powder prior to baking. For pressed powder, we're gonna take this Studio Fix in C2 for under the eyes. It is absolutely way too light for my skin type, for my skin tone, but I like a lighter shade to just kind of reinforce the brightening under here. So I will pat that into all the areas we just finished highlighting. And then next, what I want to do is bake. So I'm going to take my Jojo PowderCombination, which is just a mix of drugstore powders, and use my damp sponge to place that all over my under eye area, my midsection, anywhere where I get oily and it just builds up. The next thing that we're gonna do is take your Charlotte Tilbury, take whatever setting powder you have for the rest of your face. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm just gonna push that through everything else so that we're all set and good to go. All right, so here's what I wanna do for the bottom part. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush to run some of the mustardy yellow color and just run that very lightly through there because I wanna put more of the teal blue, and I want that to be the focus, but I don't want it to be harsh. So I always like to add a transition shade to blend everything in. Don't forget to connect it to that outer corner. It's very important for the look to look complete. Okay, and then once you've lightly run that through, then I wanna take a stiffer smudging brush, and we're gonna work that teal color into the lower lash line. I'm gonna go back into that first brush we used with the old yellow and just blend that out, soften the outer parts just a little bit. I don't ever want anything to look super harsh. All right guys, so I finished the lower lash line by adding a LA Girl Perfect Precision eyeliner in the shade Tropical, which matches perfectly with that teal color we have going on. And I also put some mascara on. So next, let's just finish up our complexion. So I want to go ahead before I dust off any excess powder and contour and bronze with powders. I know it doesn't make sense to a lot of you, like, Jovi, you're doing it twice. Why? But I like to reinforce my powders or my creams with powders just because it wears better, it photographs better. It's just overall the best look, and for me personally. So I'm gonna grab the 2 most cool tone shades in this KVD Vegan Beauty palette and just reinforce my cheekbone contour and then my temples as well. Okay, and then next we're gonna bronze, and I like to use the center shade of this palette to bronze in a nice fluffy brush like this guy. We're just gonna blend all the colors together. I like to dust off any excess baking powder as well as just reinforce to help me look nice and bronze. If you guys didn't notice, I like to look nice and tan. We look different than when we started, right? Trust the process. I can't say that enough to you guys, just trust the process. So now we're gonna take that fluffy brush we used for the Charlotte Tilbury and we're just gonna dust everything off. I'm gonna take my Patrick Ta setting spray. I actually got this in my most recent haul. If you haven't seen my haul videos, it is one of my favorite videos to film on my channel, so check them out. I'll link that below or above here. This is the Patrick Ta Major Glow Dewy Milk Mist. I love how fine it comes out, so let's just try this out. And I like to just work any setting spray in with a sponge. Just push it up against there to make sure everything just looks the way it's supposed to. Love it. For highlight today, we're taking this Morphe highlighting palette. What is this called? It is the highlighter palette by Morphe. Look at how many colors we've got in here. I'm gonna go for this one here, which is probably the brightest one in the palette. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna work that into here. Love it. And then for blush, we're using my NYX Sweet Cheek Blush in the shade Summer Breeze. It's perfect for this. It kind of unites all of the colors into one. So let's do it. And then for a lip combo, I'm actually doing another BoxyCharm product. This is the Saint Luxe Secret Admirer Lip Liner. I'm excited for this because I've been looking for a lip liner that's this color. I literally just cut off the entire edge of that. Yeah, that was a little rough on the lips there. Like the color, but the formula, not so much. I'm gonna take my Maybelline matte ink in the shade Driver. Right in the center. All right, guys, so this is the finished look right here. I am obsessed with this look, the eyeshadow. Like, can we talk about the eyeshadow? All of these colors are just giving me such nice vibes. I am here for it. I love it. I'm obsessed. I am totally obsessed. I hope that you guys like this look. I am so obsessed with it. And the nude lip, always, I just try to keep a good balance on the face. Whenever we go all off on the eyes, we want to keep it nice and neutral because you can't fight for attention on the face. It'll just look super weird. But I hope that you guys like this look. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that I post videos every Wednesday and every Sunday, every single week. And I have a ton of content on Instagram where you go behind the scenes, you see how this wears, we chit chat a little bit, do a little bit of giveaways. So follow me there. The link is, everything is listed in my description box, Facebook, Instagram, what else? And my posting schedule. I'll make sure to start putting that on there. So like always, love you, bless you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.